The night was thick with shadows, the moon hidden behind a blanket of clouds that clung to the sky like a shroud. The wind whispered through the trees, creating an eerie symphony that played on the nerves of anyone brave enough to venture into the darkness. Emily sat behind the wheel of her old sedan, the engine humming softly as she navigated the narrow, winding roads that cut through the dense forest. The only illumination came from her headlights, casting long, distorted shadows that danced along the edges of the road. The air inside the car was heavy with tension, a palpable sense of unease that seemed to grow with each passing mile. She had set out on this journey to clear her mind, to escape the troubles that had been haunting her in the waking hours. But as the darkness swallowed the landscape, her thoughts took a sinister turn. The trees, tall and imposing, stood like silent sentinels, their twisted branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The occasional hoot of an owl or the rustle of unseen creatures in the underbrush added to the growing sense of foreboding. Emily's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, her knuckles turning white. The radio, which had been playing a soft melody, suddenly crackled with static before falling silent. She fumbled with the dial, trying to bring back the comforting sound of music, but all she got was the hiss of interference. An unsettling feeling settled in the pit of her stomach as she continued down the desolate road. The forest seemed to close in around her, the branches intertwining overhead to form a natural canopy that blocked out the already feeble moonlight. Emily could feel eyes on her, unseen creatures watching from the darkness. As she rounded a bend, the headlights caught a glimpse of something in the middle of the road. Emily slammed on the brakes, heart pounding in her chest. In the dim glow of the headlights, she saw a figure standing motionless, facing away from her. It was a silhouette, hunched and cloaked in darkness. Fear paralyzed her for a moment, but curiosity got the better of Emily. She cautiously stepped out of the car, the night air chilling her skin. The figure remained still, unmoving. With each step she took, the silhouette became more defined. It was a person, their back turned to her. "Hello?" Emily called out, her voice barely more than a whisper. There was no response. She took another step, the gravel crunching beneath her shoes. Suddenly, the figure began to move, its head turning slowly to reveal a face hidden in the shadows. Emily's breath caught in her throat. The face was pale, almost translucent, with hollow eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. The figure's mouth opened, but no sound emerged. It was as if the very essence of the forest had taken human form. Panic surged within Emily, and she stumbled backward, falling onto the cold pavement. The figure continued to approach, its movements unnatural and disjointed. She scrambled to her feet and ran back to her car, the engine roaring to life as she sped away from the haunting presence. As the sedan tore through the night, Emily stole a glance in the rearview mirror. The figure was gone, swallowed by the impenetrable darkness. Her heart raced, and she tried to convince herself that it was a trick of the mind, a hallucination born from the shadows and her troubled thoughts. But as she drove on, the feeling of being watched lingered. The forest seemed to close in tighter, the road stretching endlessly before her. Emily couldn't shake the image of that pale face, the hollow eyes that seemed to follow her even in the safety of her car. The night held its secrets, and she couldn't escape the chilling realization that some mysteries were better left unsolved.